Okay, once you have your sketch done, labeled with your colors and colored with colored pencil, we'll just pretend I have mine colored, then you're ready to draw your sketch onto your large piece of paper that you will end up painting on. So first thing we need to do is transfer that rule of thirds grid that we put over top of our drawing here onto our large paper. So you're going to need one of the bigger rulers for this. On the bottom, it's 18 inches, so we're going to go 6 and 12. And you're going to want to do that measurement top and bottom so that you get straight lines across. And then on the sides, it measures 12 inches, so we're going to want to do 4 and 8. So mark those off, and then when you draw your lines across for the rule of thirds, you're going to want to draw them super lightly, because you're not going to want these to show up later in your drawing. So just drag your pencil across there nice and light for your rule of thirds grid. Okay, and the reason why you're putting this grid on here is to make sure that you're kind of following the rule of thirds with your focal point and with your horizon line. And also it's going to help us to transfer our drawing from the smaller sketch to the larger paper, kind of like using a grid. Okay, so once I've got that on there, now I'm going to look to put my drawing on here. So how the grid can help me. Let's say look for this point in the grid on the drawing. That's this point on this bigger sheet of paper. So I know that my chicken is kind of centered around this point. Now I can look to see where his neck crosses. This is the line. This is the top of that line. His neck crosses a point about, I'd say, 1/3 of the way up on this line. So I can measure that to be about right here. So I know this is about where my chicken's neck is going to cross. I can do the same thing over here. See where his body crosses. Between this line and this line, that would be also pretty close to 1/3, maybe a little less, so about right there. And see kind of where his back crosses. Got that maybe 1/4 of a way over his back crosses, but then of course it kind of comes back up and poofs his tail. Now I'm going to look at where the bottom of his body is, and I just left a little room for his legs down here. And so now it's a little bit of connect the dots, and that's going to help you get your little sketch to scale on your big piece of paper so that you know you're drawing it large enough. So now I've got this all sketched on here onto my larger paper, and I've try to take my time to draw things a little nicer. Now what I'll do is go ahead and erase this rule of thirds grid as best I can, because I don't want this to show up when I'm doing the painting part. Okay, and so now my drawing is ready to start painting.